Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so that's everybody, right? Let me check. Okay, I think that should be everybody. So let me share my screen. Right, so here's how this analog works. Once I created a quiz in the Elms like this, let me first upload this practice here. Okay, so I will release this. So right now is 31. Sorry. So once I save and publish this quiz, I should be able to activate this quiz in the analog. Yeah, you can see we don't really need those student photo, student ID, room scan. Yeah, these kind of things, I think. Yeah, but we need to record the web camera and record the screen. Hi, Professor.
No, I disagree. I think we need all of them.
Oh, I mean, you think we
Absolutely,
need all of these?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's the full power of this tool.
Oh, right. Okay, no problem. That would be better. Just a little worried. Maybe 5 minutes won't be enough for all of these, but yeah, I think that should be fine. So after, I think that should be all of those, right? Yeah, after all is set up, I will enable this thing here. And then you can go to your Elms now, and you can click on this analog. And you should be able to see something like, I send you a PDF, right? Something like this. You should be able to, yeah. I'm assuming that all of you already added this analog extension here. And then you can go to this analog navigation bar, and you can click this take the quiz. And then it will ask you to launch the proctoring. So once you click on this launch proctoring, it will require you to close all the websites. Are you guys follow my procedure here? I'm not quite sure because I can't see your screen, but it's recommended to take the whole procedures here.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
So regarding the room scan, right? So if I'm, logging into, if I'm using my laptop, so I would have to use the laptop's webcam to sort of show around the room. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I see some sample of this thing before. The room
Since
scan.
we are on the Zoom meeting,
I suggest
right.
that you do everything, because the whole idea is to do a test drive. So what I want you to do is never have to do anything for the first time during the exam. The whole idea of the current test drive is that you do everything, and the only thing that will remain for the exam will be to get the real questionnaire and answer it then. So try to make it as realistic as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a point. So I think you'd better doing everything right now. And let me see. Okay, I can't see any results right now. I think I need to, after the deadline, I can see those who follow these procedures here. So yeah, after you do these things, you can start to take the exam. And once you start sharing your screen, please don't click on, there should be a button like to stop the sharing, but don't click on this because it may cause you to lose the track of the recording. And that will be a problem here. So even if you want to hand in your answers earlier than the deadline, please don't stop sharing. You can do anything you want with your computer, or you maybe even leave your room or something. It's okay. The analog won't prevent you to do these things. They will just give me some alert that you already did something like this, but it won't prevent you to do those things. So if you already hand in those answers, that should be fine.
We don't have to attend the Zoom meeting, right? There won't be a Zoom meeting on Wednesday because with the Zoom meeting, we cannot really use
the camera. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What you need?
So if we are using our webcams on Zoom, we cannot use our webcams on the honor log in order to try the honor log system now.
Ma, I think that what the student asks is the following. If I understand it correctly, Umang, please correct me.
Yeah, I think I understand the question.
What he's asking is that there is a tension between Zoom and analog, meaning you cannot use both. So what he asks, and he definitely deserves an answer.
Right, you need to.
Wednesday, he should log in into the analog and not to the Zoom. I think that the answer. So will you be able to forward the exam through analog? And then the question is, can you also submit the answers through analog?
I'm not quite sure you can attend a Zoom meeting or you just can't open the camera on the Zoom meeting. If you can attend a Zoom meeting, I think you don't have to turn on your camera and you can type your question in the chat.
So how about if you try now a test drive and let the students try everything? So we will see. I mean, let's not theorize. The whole point of this test drive is to have a real test. No surprises.
Right, already. Actually, I just did a test drive, but I don't think there is a real-time communication with the students here. So I think it might be better to open the Zoom meeting and in the same time you record this screen with this analog. And we can type the question and answer those questions with the Zoom meeting.
I'm logging into the analog and it's asking me to close the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, and after you close the Zoom, you can reopen it, you know. Because once you open this thing, it will ask you to close everything. And then you will need to open the, you may be able to open the exam problems by this analog, but I think if you want to open ELMS, it's okay as well. But once you open this analog, it will ask you to close everything else. So the right procedure for doing this is first open analog and then open the Zoom meeting and the ELMS for your midterm.
Okay, Ma, please tell them what to do next. Just tell them what to do rather than tell them the theory of what you can or you cannot do.
Yes,
just give them instructions. Do this, do that.
Right. The thing is, I didn't have the student side, so my side looks a lot different from them. So this PDF is a guide to how to do those things. So once you finish all these things, you can start like you need to take a photo of you and you need to take a photo of your ID and you need to do the room scan. After all these things, you can after those finish up, you can open the Zoom meeting and you can open Elms and you can start a midterm. So one other problem is when you plan to when you plan to finish your exam, don't close this analog at first. You should take first when it should be 1:40 p.m. You first stop writing and use your phone or something to scan your answers and send it to me. And I will confirm in the Zoom meeting I received it. And once I confirm this, you are free to go or something, but don't stop this proctoring. It will stop when the deadline approaches, and you need to finish up and saving, and then it will upload your recording automatically.
Do we upload it through Elms?
No, you don't need to upload it by your own. It will upload it automatically to this part. I should be able to see this in this part.
For the midterm, are we uploading the midterm through Elms?
Oh, you mean the scanned copy of your answer, right?
Yeah.
No, you don't upload it by Elms because we may need to change this assignments, so it may lose your answer. You send it by email to me.
Okay, so we can send you a PDF?
Of course, a PDF format is preferred, actually.
And are we allowed to leave the room to go scan the midterm? Or should we scan it in front of our computers?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it should be scanned in your room. Do you agree with it, Professor?
Yeah, I think so. In my mind, it's okay if students use their cell phone or use the scan option in their cell phone, and they feel that what they scanned is not good enough. Since they will already upload something, I don't mind if later they upload a better version. They need to guarantee that they didn't change anything, and we will have a copy to make sure that they didn't change anything.
Yeah, okay? I think that makes sense.
So the point here is that you cannot leave the room before you send a copy, and the copy should be legible. But if you feel after that you have not done the best job, or you can improve the quality of the scanning, it's okay a few minutes later to send something, a second version, but you're supposed to, it should be clear that no games here. You are not allowed to change anything.
Right, I think that makes sense. Is there any trouble with this?
Can you, have you now to have the students log into Honor and actually give them the exam?
Yes, I did, but it seems that they need to, if they want to attend this, they need to leave Zoom meeting. So I think there is nobody really taking this exam.
So I just tried taking that exam, but it got locked again by 12:35 actually. So I think you need to give it a longer period.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so let me try a new one. Okay, let me add another quiz. Be quick, okay.
I have another
Make it a lot longer so that we can log in, come back to the Zoom meeting, then log out as if during a real exam. That would
that makes sense.
Fix things out.
Let me insert.
Okay, so let's agree on the following. If you log out of the Zoom meeting, please come back, let's say by 1 p.m. because I hope to finish by now, but it seems that you're not advancing by giving them instructions. So give them clear instructions. If you log out, come back by 1 p.m. 1 p.m. I will start the class. I didn't plan on losing so much time, but you really need to be very clear. Do this, do that.
Okay, I see. So I will activate this exam right now, and everybody take this exam and we will be back in the Zoom meeting on 12:50. Okay. Okay. So everything.
So 12:50 or 1? You think 12:50 will be back? Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think if they
Okay.
start taking this now, 5 minutes should be enough.
Okay.
So see you guys in a minute. Okay.
So I think I'm taking the exam right now, but it's not asking me to close the Zoom meeting at all. It's monitoring, I think. And I have a button that says stop sharing. If you want, I can share my screen, but it's not asking me to close any of the Zoom meetings.
Oh, that's great. Actually, I think that's same as in the guide.
So if you want, if you allow me to share my screen, I can show you from the student side what I can see in my classroom.
Okay, no problem. Let me set you as the co-host. Okay, yes, so you can share the screen right now.
Okay, so I think you can see my screen, right?
Right, yeah, we can see your
So
screen.
I have this honor proctoring, which is recording me. And then I have my Elms on, which is where I got, everything else got closed, but the Elms didn't. Also, the Zoom meeting is still running, as you see here.
Oh, that's even better, actually. So you don't need to first open this and then open the Zoom meeting. You can first attend the Zoom meeting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So by the way, is it possible for you to open the camera for the Zoom meeting right now?
Yes. 1 second, let me give that a shot. Yeah. So I have the camera there, and then I have the camera here.
Right. That's how.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I planned.
And I didn't do anything but putting the honor lock extension on. That was it. I just Googled honor lock extension, I put it there, and then everything seems to be working, right? And then I have the submit quiz. So like I submitted it now. It closed the honor lock, and I'm only on the Zoom right now.
That's really great, actually, I think. So let me see.
But just a second, it closed the honor lock upon submission, which contradicts what you amount. This seems to contradict what you guided them to do.
How it contradicts what the
because what you said is submit but do not turn off the
No. I mean the submit means they send me the scanned copy of their answer, not by submit this analog thing, you know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
right.
see. So what you are saying, don't use the analog to submit through Zoom.
Right. Because once you upload the analog thing, we will lose the track of the camera.
Okay.
If I didn't receive the copy, I don't know what you do during this period. So yeah.
I understand.
No. Okay.
So please be clear, submit through Zoom.
Right.
And the question that I have also, thank you very much, Mashid, for your help here.
No problem.
I same experience that Mashid reported, whether it applies to other students, because I'm just concerned whether maybe, not all computer systems are identical. And maybe if it worked for you, it doesn't mean that it worked for others.
Yeah. Yes, so I think not everybody saw what's going on in this meeting just now. So
now the number of participants in the Zoom has reached the peak. It never exceeded 16. Now everybody is here.
Right.
So is there anybody who wants to report about their experience? Do you still have any questions? Is everything clear? Please.
So,
you can go first.
This procedure might take time. So will we be allowed to start the exam 5 minutes before? So
so the idea is we should ask the students to enter at 12:20 because they will need time to scan their ID, to do all types of things in the beginning. So please allocate full 10 minutes to that. And now when you get started, maybe you can even start at 12:15. So students, they will be required to start at 12:20. So this will be your responsibility. Ma, please start it at 12:15 because there are some procedures they can start. And then I don't think you need the questionnaire too much ahead. And then we plan to finish at 1:40, so we'll have 70 minutes. And then the only thing is you don't log out, you don't terminate the analog until you get approval from Matt to do that through the Zoom session. Have I properly stated what you expected, Ma?
I have a comment. So this is what we have to do. We log in, do all the process for the honor lock, and then we log into our Gmail or whatever means of communication that we have, and then we send the email. Then we submit quiz on honor lock, because otherwise it would close honor lock, right?
I'm not sure I understand. So you need you are going to send it via email.
Yeah, so I have to open a new tab, go to my Gmail during the exam while honor lock is running, and then send the email. After I get my confirmation, then I should hit submit on the honor lock quiz.
Okay, so is that what you expected, Ma?
We can't.
So you're muted.
Unmute, Ma.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I expected. One thing I need to confirm is that I only received 10 copies of the result. So I will share my screen right now and to see, is there anybody who take the exam but who didn't really upload their, didn't really submit their recording. So here is all the recording I get here. Is there anybody who take the exam but who didn't show up in this here right now?
Yeah, so I'm hitting. I'm hitting a problem where it's asking me to close tabs, even though I only have the Elms tab open. So if you could keep the quiz up a lot longer open, then I can try to figure out what's going on with the honor lock.
So okay, no problem.
Yes, I'm having a problem with honor lock right now.
Okay, I see. So maybe I will cite a new quiz along.
Okay, just a second. Yeah. This sounds to me like a special problem for Chris my suggestion is that you will set a separate appointment with him.
Yeah, no
Where
problem.
you will be able to do it. Ma asked a good question. You have 6 students, and I'm sorry, 4 students, because the 2 of us are count, myself, as part of the 16. So my understanding is that we have 14 students in attendance. 10 have no problem. 1 already raised their hand and said that they will have a follow-up with EMA to overcome their problem. The other 3, did you submit or you did not?
No, the honor lock would not accept my identification scan.
Yeah, I was wondering.
So I will also set up a meeting with you after
Okay,
class.
so Isaac will also set a meeting. Anybody else?
I have a question. Yeah, because right now I don't have my ID card because I take this course from remotely from my home country. So is that another way to scan my ID, or because I don't have that card right now?
How about if you communicate, you can send an email to, Melanie Prange?
Excuse me?
Melanie Prange, you know the name?
Yeah, I know.
So send an email to Melanie Prange as soon as possible with a copy to me. Ask her how to overcome this problem, okay?
All right, okay. I see.
And maybe it's a good idea if you copy also the ECE help desk. Are you aware of their email, or I should find it for you?
Yeah, I can. So I need to I need to get a card, or I have
You
some...
need to overcome this problem, because you see, the way I operate here, just to clarify, is I'm following the guidance from the University of Maryland. Whatever you do in this class, in this particular exam, I thought that as being a responsible lecturer here, or responsible instructor, I'm supposed not to invent things. I'm supposed to follow the guidelines from the university. And since the university gave me the guidelines, and your question is a guidelines type question, I want you to clear it, because I'm not the authority to answer. You understand?
Yeah, I see.
You ask a legitimate question, you need to get the answer from from the official. So Melanie Prange is the official for that. And if you send a copy, address to her, send a copy to me. Hello? Send a copy to Melanie Prange, the email to Melanie Prange, copy me and copy the ECE help desk.
All right, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else who is...
I just have one small question. So I think when Marshid was sharing her screen, she was able to see her own video, right? But when I was doing it, I knew that my camera was on, but I could not see my own video on Honor Lock. Did someone else have the same issue?
Yep, I did not see my video either. So, but like, I don't know.
But you know that the camera was on, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I think it's pretty normal.
Okay, so is there any separate question, and can I open another separate quiz for you? And if there is any other question, you can send me an email, or maybe go to my office hour tomorrow. Is there any public question right now?
Could I ask a public question really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Do we need to print out this exam, or can we write all our answers on separate sheets?
No, you don't need to print them out. You can write it on a separate sheets, blank sheets.
Okay, if we submit to you just blank sheets with the problem numbers on them?
Yeah, it's good. It's good enough.
Yeah, just that your name is included just for to avoid confusion here. And yeah, and that's fine.
Can I ask a question too?
Yeah, of course.
So just to clarify, it sounds like you need to send an email to you need to send your submission via email to you, and then get confirmation that you have received our test answers.
Right.
And submit the quiz on Elms.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
So should we rejoin the Zoom call once we start the exam?
Actually, I think somebody just proves that you don't need to close the Zoom meeting when you open the Unlock. But for I think it might be safer if you first open the Unlock, then you open Zoom meeting.
Okay, but we should be in the Zoom meeting during the exam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I just want to confirm that we should never submit through the Unlock, right?
No. After you got my confirmation about I received the answer, you can submit via the Unlock.
Okay.
And it will stop recording.
Okay.
Is there any other question?
Where do you get that PDF that you were looking through for like the Unlock steps?
I cannot send you an email with this yesterday, but I can post it on the announcement if you prefer that way.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just to confirm, after exam is over, we have 5 to 10 minutes of duration in which we scan the exam and mail it to you and get confirmation via Zoom.
Right, you need to stop writing on 1:40 p.m. and you got like 5 minutes to do everything, like scan, send it, and submit on Unlock.
Okay, so the Unlock will be open till 1:45. So we have 5 minutes of gap.
Right, right.
All right.
Yeah, in fact, just to be completely clear, just in case for some reason we don't finish it by 1:45 for everybody, please do close the Unlock only when Mark tells you to do it, because it's important that it will not be closed prematurely and then some students will be, right? I mean, so rather than have a default as a time, so we hope to be able to close down everything at 1:45. In case, don't rush to do it until you get approval that everybody submit.
I see.
Wait, can you scan and email your answers before 1:40, or are you saying you can only scan and email after 1:40?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You can as soon as you finish.
Okay, okay.
In fact, as soon as you finish, if you send it, then we will continue recording, but it will not be held against you if you did private things after you submit. So, you know, suppose later you do something that would be unacceptable to do while you write the exam, okay? If you submit and there is a time step on your submitter and Ma approves it, you are free to do whatever you want, but don't close the recording, that's all.
Okay, I understand.
But it will be perfectly legal. You have not done anything wrong if after you submit, you do your private stuff.
Sounds good.
I have a question. So like when I started the Unlock, it asked me to close down all the tabs in my browser. So like, but I never checked if it allows me to open a new tab. So if I'm submitting it on Gmail, my scanned PDFs, so does it allow me to open a new tab to email it to you?
Right. The Unlock won't prevent you from open a new page, but it will report it on the final results. So I can see you open those tabs. So if you want to use your computer to send me the email of the copy, you can use it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, no problem.
Any other questions? That's the time to raise the questions. And of course, those who are going to have private sessions with Ma should coordinate it with him and make sure that you get your answers to the extent that they are individual, not questions that are of interest to everybody. If you have any question which is of interest to everybody, that's the time to ask. If not, I will move on to the class.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it would be good if the submission instructions were posted as an announcement on ELMS. So it's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Mark, can you do that?
Yeah, no problem. I will do it right now.
Yeah, I think it may be a good idea, even if you go and revisit everything that we posted and post a revised set of things, what everybody should know. And maybe ideally they should read only one document.
Right.
It will be cleaner if you just put now everything into one document that will supersede everything we, your prior instructions. Okay?
Yeah, sounds
okay,
good to me.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, so just do that. So students will not need to go and read, several different things. Okay?
Okay, no problem.
Any questions? Okay, so I'm going, so can you make me a co-host here? Or am I already?
I think you are a co-host right now.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, so I will. So let me take over. You're now. Oh, okay. Okay, so I can start now. So I'm going to continue with the material now. So let me do here the share screen. Okay, no, that's not it. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. Oh, this was just a second. It will take me a second. I apologize for this delay. Okay, so we were working on this slide. I defined already articulation point bridges, and we went over the first 5 steps of this exercise, which was how to compute articulation points and bridges. And where we left off was at the end of item 5. And what remains to be done from this slide is to go over item 6. Now, item 6 is a bit tricky because it turns out that the textbook gives a non-standard definition of biconnectivity. And I'm just going to revise it. It's a minor revision, but as the next slide demonstrates to you, the definition that I'm going to use is in fact the standard one. And it's a bit surprising that such a standard textbook uses a non-standard definition. So what is biconnectivity? It's a binary relation on the edges, meaning it's a relationship E between two edges. So you say that they satisfy the relationship R, E1, R, E2, if they lie on a simple cycle, or E1 equals E2. Okay, so that's the definition. So interestingly enough, while what you see here in this example, where this is a biconnected component number 1, this is number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6, and number 5, and number 6. If you see the way I defined it here, in fact, we have several more biconnected components according to my definition. Why? Because every bridge is also a biconnected component, right? Because you'll have an edge that will be equal to itself and it will not lie on the same simple cycle with any other edge. Okay, so I hope that the definition of a simple cycle, is, everybody remembers it. The definition of a simple cycle is a cycle where you don't have a repetition of edges or of vertices. Where you don't have a repetition of vertices. That's really what it is. Okay. So by this definition, I hope that you understand why this figure right here is not correct, because whatever it reports as a biconnected component is a biconnected component, but all the bridges, all the edges that would form a singleton biconnected components are not represented here. Everything else in my definition applies to the figure. So why are these two edges in the same biconnected component? Because they have a simple cycle on which they lie. Why these two edges are on the same biconnected component? Because why they satisfy the biconnectivity relationship? It's because there is a simple cycle right here. Let's see. So these two. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can see that you can find a simple cycle including every pair of edges. So what is also included in biconnected components are all the vertices induced by the edges. Usually, here we define the relationship only on the edges, but when we say biconnected component, we extend this biconnectivity relationship to include also vertices. So to the extent that you have a bunch of edges included, you now go and include all the vertices they touch. Okay. So this is the definition. And what do we need to prove for item 6? We need to prove that this is an equivalence relation. So what does an equivalence relation mean? It means that the relation is I forgot the term, that it provides equality. It's just the term escaped me. I'm sorry. That an element is equivalent to itself. Okay. I'm sorry. The term escaped me. The second property is symmetry, meaning if E1 satisfies the relationship relative to E2, then E2 satisfies the relationship to R1. If E2, then E2 satisfies the relationship to E1. And this is trivial because if edge E1 and E2 are on the same simple cycle, you can use the same cycle to show that E2 and E1 are on the same cycle. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? That's the shortest proof ever. And the third thing is to prove transitivity. So what is transitivity? Transitivity says that if E2 or A and B, two edges, are on the same cycle and edge B and C are on the same cycle, then A and C are also on the same simple cycle. So if A and B are in the same simple cycle, B and C are on the same simple cycle, there got to be a simple cycle comprising A and C, right? Now, what is interesting about this exercise is that this is the only entry that we are expected to prove as part of item 6 here, which is non-trivial. Okay, so claim, I hope, is clear. I'm repeating the claim. If edge A and edge B are on the same simple cycle, and edge B and edge C are on the same simple cycle, there got to be a simple cycle comprising A and C. Is the claim clear? Not the proof, the claim. I haven't proved anything. Okay, if the claim is clear, how about if there is any volunteer in the audience who would like to try and prove it? You can unmute yourself and feel free to speak if you would like to try and prove it. Okay, so let me try and give a false attempt at trying to prove it. So you see, I have a B and a B here, okay? So suppose that, what does an edge B means? It means that it connects a node U to a node V, because, you know, every edge goes between two nodes. So suppose that this is U, this is U, this is V, this is V. So can I start here, go to this U, remove B, connect it to this U, go this way, come back to V, I merge this V with this and come back. Is this a legitimate simple cycle? It is a cycle, right? Obviously, it's a cycle. Is it a simple cycle? Is my question clear? I took an arbitrary simple cycle including A and B, an arbitrary simple cycle including B and C, and then suppose that in this figure, this is U, this is U, this is V, this is V. So I go up to here, and at U I switch to the other, I come back here, and at V here I switch to the other, I come back. I clearly formed a cycle comprising A and C, right? I think it's clear. But I am required to show for transitivity that the cycle I created is a simple cycle.
I think yes, because there are no repeated vertices. It is a simple cycle.
How do you know that there are no repeated vertices?
Because you went from A via some cycle to B at a node U. So the only assumption here is that there are no, like, okay, we do not know whether there are any common vertices between the cycle from A to B and B to C. Otherwise, it will not be a simple cycle.
Right. So nothing prevents us from having some node W here and node W here, right? Or node W here and node W here. For that reason, the proof I gave is not correct. Is the problem clear? So how can we form a proof? So the fine job that we need to do here is to overcome exactly the problem that I pointed out to. And here is how we can do it. We start at this node right here. And we keep going until the first time that we hit a vertex that appears anywhere on this cycle. Okay? We do the same thing in this direction. We start going in this direction until the first time that we hit a vertex which is on this cycle. Okay, now the trick here is to mark these two vertices as they appear on this cycle. So what we are guaranteed is that the portion that we took from here didn't include any vertex that appears on this side internally, right? Because we stopped at the first time that we hit such a vertex. It may be even that we cannot even move to the next. In principle, maybe that we stop here and stop here. Maybe A appears. Because I'm telling you, start going in this direction. Start going means that maybe that even this node, so suppose this is X and Y, suppose this node X is already here. Okay, or maybe that this whole edge is here. So now, it turns out that this construction will require now some attention in order to make sure that what we get is not only a simple cycle, but a simple cycle that includes both A and C. So why is that the case? To argue this, we first observe that what we are going to get will definitely not include more than one occurrence of a vertex, because we only include here vertices that did not appear on the other side. And upon first time that they appear, we switch to the other side. So A will be there. But the trick is, since we don't know where we are going to hit this cycle, we need to argue that we can sew them together in such a way that C will be there. Because it's not enough that A will be there, right? We need that C will be there. So the key observation is that there are a bunch of possibilities of where we hit this cycle. We may go this way and come here to see, hit this here. So suppose we go this way, and the first point where we hit a vertex which exists here is here. And maybe that we come this way, the next vertex that we appear is right here. So how will we sew them together? Because when I go in this direction and this direction, I'm guaranteed to hit the second cycle here, somewhere here. We are going to cut this cycle in 2 locations. And because we are going to cut it in 2 locations, imagine that you apply scissors to this string, which is 1 cycle, right? If you apply scissor at 2 locations, the C must be on one of the sides, right? Take this side and include the whole of it to complement what you cut from here. End of proof. Because by taking the side on which C resides, you are guaranteed to include C, and the construction guarantees that it will be a simple cycle, because we avoided the possibility of including any vertex more than once. Is this construction clear? Okay, so this is really the proof. And now, once we have done that,
I have a question.
Sure.
But to do those constructions, we're not changing any of the vertices
between. I don't understand the question. What do you mean by change of vertices?
Or the edges. Right, we're just
no, what we are doing, we are taking out from this cycle a certain continuum on this side. We are cutting this at some 2 locations, and then we take the remainder from this side, the part that includes C.
What if B is the only? Is it possible that B is the only shared vertex between the 2 cycles?
B is an edge.
Oh. Oh, okay.
In this story, A, B, and C are edges. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so this is basically the proof. Okay, so with this we are done with this chapter on bi-connected components, and you have here a short discussion of the different definitions, and a link here that tells you where to find the this entry in Wikipedia of all places that demonstrates to you that I'm using the standard definition. Now, one thing that just escaped me, and I apologize for that, because I promised to do in this class a review session, but in fact, I got only one email from one student, and I now suddenly remember that I'm expected to answer to this email, to this question, because the question was actually a very short one. I will answer it. So let me maybe read the question to be sure that I answer the question as asked. Okay, just a minute. So just a minute. Got this question yesterday. Yeah, so it's from Shangyu Mao, he asked the following: I wonder if you can go through the pros and cons and differences between dynamic programming and greedy algorithms. I understand the general principle behind each of those, but I'm not sure what fits better for what situation specifically. Okay, so the short answer is that there is no clear formula, but because greedy is much simpler, the way you need to think about a problem that you get, and if you need to determine whether it's a greedy, it lends itself to a greedy algorithm or requires dynamic programming, is by asking the intuitive question, intuitive, and then you need to turn it into a mathematically rigorous reply. Can you apply the greedy principle? And what does greedy principle mean? You are required to give some solution. Can you look at the problem and grab a part of the solution in a way that you will never need to go back? Meaning that where you will say, by picking this component of the solution, I'm making something which is right. And an example was the situation with a minimum spanning tree, where to the extent that you pick an edge, which is minimum weight edge, connecting a node, for example, or between two sets, a set and its complement, then you know that what you take is correct. You never need to go back. I also gave you the example of allocating lectures to a lecture hall. The ability to apply greedy was because I could start from some subset of the lectures, pick one, throw the others, and know that I'm still on my way to get an optimal solution. So the formula for greedy is you can commit to a part of the solution while proving that by committing, you are not going to do anything suboptimal, meaning that the best solution is still possible on the remainder. So in a way, greedy is very much an inductive process where you commit inductively, you clean, move to the next. And by committing, you have not put yourself in a disadvantaged position. Whenever you cannot do that, and you figure out that by committing to everything, you try to think, and that's really why it's so difficult to give you a formula, because figuring out all the ways in which you can commit to something involves creativity, and nobody can tell you, here is the set of all the ideas that you can do in this problem. You really need to be creative here. So you need to explore all possibilities of doing things in a greedy fashion in your mind. And don't ask me what are all the possibilities, because nobody has a good answer, a good generic answer. And to the extent that you fail, and then you try to think about a strategy where you need to keep with you a bunch of alternatives, and only later you need to pick the ones that looks most competitive after you go over different alternatives, and keep juggling all the balls up in the air, then it lends itself more to dynamic programming. But my best advice is to first try to do your best to apply greedy, and only after you fail, fall back on dynamic programming. That's the best answer I can give to that student, and this was the only question I got. There's a chat here. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so the student seemed to be satisfied with this, with the answer. Okay, very good. Okay, so so we have still a few things to do in this chapter, and I'm continuing. And if I will not finish today, we'll do it next Monday. So what is an Euler tool of a graph? So I'm giving you, suppose we are given a connected undirected graph, a graph with vertices and edges, and which is a cycle that traverses each edge of G exactly once. Okay, so let's see what the definition is. The definition is, I'm giving you a graph with vertices and edges, which is connected, and an Euler tool is the possibility that exists in some graphs and doesn't exist in others, to essentially take your pen and go over the edges without raising the pen even once, where at the end you come back to where you started, and as you went through the edges, you visited every edge exactly once. So it includes all the edges, no edge more than once, and you come back to the original location. Of course, it doesn't have to be a simple cycle, just to clarify. Okay, so that's an Euler tool. Is the definition clear? And just for the fun of it, Euler was a very famous German mathematician, and he came up with this problem because he lived in a German city called Königsburg, which had a bunch of rivers, and there were bridges crossing these rivers. And the question, as he asked it originally, was, can I take a walk in which I will pass all the bridges in my city, come back to the original location, but never cross any bridge more than once? Okay, so this is how he came up with the question.
Sorry, what's the difference between a simple cycle and an Euler tour? Or is it the same?
Oh, no, it's very different. In a simple cycle, you never visit the same vertex more than once.
Mm-hmm.
In an Euler tour, you're definitely allowed to visit a vertex as many times as you want, as long as you visit every edge exactly once.
Okay.
Okay, just to, for a more, a slightly, I don't know if it's a humorous, but just a historical break. Anybody here has an idea in what country does Königsburg, the favorite city of Euler, resides now?
Russia.
Good. Very good. Who said that?
I did. I think it's Russia.
No, but who said it? I'm sorry.
Christopher.
Oh, Christopher. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, good. Yeah, so there is a small part of Russia which lies east of Poland, which is disconnected from mainland Russia, in fact. It's on the Baltic Sea, where this city resides now. And I do remember the name?
I think it's Kaliningrad, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly, Kaliningrad. That's exactly right. Excellent. Good. So it's nice to see that there are some students who know some, history and stuff, because it's completely counterintuitive to think that Germany, that now does not have a border with Russia, a former German city, is now part of Russia, and not even mainland Russia. So it's actually tells you that there is some interesting part of history behind it. Anyway, this was the end of the history class, lesson in this course. So, okay. So now, because this is an algorithmic course, and in this chapter we are talking about graph algorithms, we next move to a theorem. And the theorem is that G has an Euler tour, the graph G, if and only if the degree of every vertex is an even number. Now, observe that I already required that G will be connected, right? So a connected graph G has an Euler tour if and only if the degree of every vertex is an even number. Even number, of course, not including 0, obviously. Because otherwise, if it has a vertex with a degree 0, it's not connected. So what is really interesting here is to show that the if and only if holds. So think about it. Why, if I show you an Euler tour, this implies that every vertex has an even number, a degree which is an even number. Anybody wants to give it a try? This is actually a very simple point.
If there were like, if one vertex had an odd number of nodes, if you did that mod 2, where each pair is like coming to the node and leaving the node, there'd be one leftover edge where you'd be coming to the node, but then you'd be essentially stuck at a dead end because every other
exactly
path.
Yeah. That's you got it. So basically the argument is the following: you start at a given node, right? Upon leaving the node, you say this node, I used one edge of it, right? So I have a degree of 1 that I consumed up to now. Then you keep going. For every node you enter, you also exit. So you can think about the degree as you charge 2 towards the degree of each. So every vertex that you enter and exit, you already decremented its degree by 2. So since you are going to consume all the edges in every vertex you enter and exit, by that alone, since each time you decrease the degree by 2 and you bring it down to 0, means that every such vertex has an even degree. So what happened to the vertex you start with? You decrement 1 when you start, but then you get stuck at it at the end, which means that you take another 1 for terminating 0. End of proof. Is that clear? So you start at a vertex. For every vertex you go through, you keep decrementing its degree by 2, and the fact that you used all the edges overall means that that you reach 0 in all vertices. The one you started with, you decrement 1 in the beginning. To the extent that you keep visiting it, you decrement it by 2 each time, but then at the final time, when you end there, you decrement another 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and it's again the same argument. Okay, so what is this? This is established that G has an Euler tour only if every vertex is an even number. But we didn't establish the if, right? That if it has an even number, then there is an Euler tour. We only showed that if there is an Euler tour, then it's an even number, right? So it turns out that the proof that if you have every vertex has an even degree, you can construct an Euler tour is in fact a pretty, it's in fact the whole algorithm. And the proof and the algorithm will basically be 1. So this is where we are going to resume the class on Monday. So you will get the full instructions towards the midterm on now we'll put a revised version if he has not done that already. You are required to show up virtually at 12:12, 12:30, 12:20, I apologize, 12:20 on Wednesday with analog, and you will have the first 10 minutes to enter all your qualifications there. And finally, the exam will be over at 1:40, and then you will need to submit it. And remember his instruction not to turn off analog until you get approval from him. Let's see, there is some chat here from somebody. Let's see. Let me stop share and see. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that it was the answer. Okay. So we are done for today. Are there any questions? If not, I'm going to terminate this session. Okay. Bye-bye. See you Wednesday.